and relook at the history of the country. And that's why we wrote this book. Now, there were two important movements in the history of South Asian subcontinent. First was, as mentioned earlier, was the 1946 revolt of the sailors of the British Indian Navy. That happened on 18th of February 1946. The sailors took over the ships, they tore down the British flag, and they put up red flags on all the ships of the British Indian Navy. 3 garrisons in Karachi, in Bombay and in Madras were the main leaders. The strike committee, which was formed, comprised of 3 people. One was a Sikh, one was a Hindu, one was a Muslim. The chairman was S.K. Khan, and then Gurmeet Singh was the secretary, and there was a Hindu, Anand Lal, who was the coordinator. And then that sailors' revolt actually spread into the cities, where there was a textile strike, where there was a railway strike, and there was a strike in many other industries, an advanced section of the Indian proletariat. And that's what actually made General Auchinleck, the Commander-in-Chief of British forces in India, send a telegram to the Whitehall in London, in which he wrote that if you don't give them independence in 3 days, they will take independence. But because the leaders of Muslim League, Jinnah, Nehru, Gandhi and Patel, they played an important role in crushing that strike, because that strike would have overtaken them. And the irony is that Communist Party at that stage had abandoned this struggle, and they had asked the communists to. Otherwise, the role of the Communist Party was very important. Till 1943, Communist Party was a major force in the independence movement in the subcontinent. But anyway, I don't have time to go into that aspect of history. So we saw then Clement Attlee was elected against and who had defeated the hero of the Second World War, Winston Churchill, and a Labour Party government was in there. They were terrified. They sent the cabinet mission, and the cabinet mission said that, okay, they wanted to give more and more concessions and bring about a leadership of their own choice, which was already, Gandhi was played up by the British, Nehru was played up by the British, Jinnah obviously was almost British himself. So those leaders of the local elite which was created by the British earlier on, right from the inception of the rule, those leaders were forced into a sort of agreement. Jinnah agreed to abandon the creation of Pakistan in March 1946, and he agreed that we would go for this cabinet mission plan in which there will be no partition. There will be 3 zones, a confederation in which there would be the finance, defense, and foreign policy. That would be in the center, and the rest would be in the 3 zones A, B, C. That means partition. Jinnah had abandoned partition in 46. It was Nehru who was instigated by Edwina Mountbatten at the behest of Winston Churchill, who provoked Jinnah into revoking this agreement with the cabinet mission. But anyway, that movement was defeated. Partition was a bloody cut-up of Bengal and Punjab. That's what really partition is. And probably Kashmir is part of Kashmir. And 2.7 million people were killed in this mass migration, bloodshed, religious hatred, intolerance, which was created by the ruling class. Because the British knew, the leaders of the Indian local bourgeoisie, they knew that if in a united India, the movement of national liberation gains victory, it will not stop at the stage of national liberation. It will go on to a social liberation. They were seeing what was happening. There was a red storm in China at that period in time. The Chinese Revolution came in 49. Then there was a revolutionary upsurge in Malaysia, in Burma, in Vietnam, in Laos, in Cambodia. The whole Asia was lit up with a revolutionary fire. And so they could not, so they had to create this or practice it or exercise this reactionary thought of creating a wedge amongst the masses on the question of religion. And hence this state came into being.